friends, I'm going to show you my recipe for homemade sugar cookies. And really, you can make these any time of the year. They're great for holidays or birthdays. They're so colorful and pretty, they make a great addition to any party. We're going to start with 2 sticks of softened butter and 1 cup of sugar. And we're just going to beat that for about a minute or so until it's nice and creamy. And then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And to this, we're going to add a half a teaspoon of lemon extract, and this really is my secret ingredient. It makes the flavor so nice and light and bright. And people ask me all the time, what's different? There's something a little different with your sugar cookies, and really it's that lemon extract. And now we're going to add in 2 eggs, and we're just going to beat this for about a minute or 2 until this is all nice and creamy. This reminds me of a funny story when I was a kid. My mom was such a great baker, and she made us treats all the time. And she used to always let us lick the beaters, but it was funny. She would scrape them so well that by the time we got them as kids, they were almost all cleaned off. So every time I bake and I'm scraping my beaters, it just reminds me of when I was a kid and my mom was so great at scraping hers. Now we're going to add the dry ingredients, and honestly, you could put these in a separate bowl, but I just add them right on top and it seems to work out just fine. We're going to add 3 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then just a pinch of salt, or 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Now in a second here, I'm going to put the recipe up, so if you want to screenshot it, get ready now. You can definitely mix this with a stand mixer or a KitchenAid, but I just mixed it by hand because I don't have either of those things. And then once you have that dough fully combined, we really need to chill this in the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours. We want that dough to be a little more stiff when we bake these, so they don't puff up too much. You want them really to hold their shape, and in order to do that, they do need to be chilled. So I like to wrap mine in saran wrap, and I like to press it down kind of flat just so it chills evenly. And then we're just going to wrap this all up and stick it in the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours, or until it's firm. Now, once it's been 1 or 2 hours, you can pull that out, and we're going to roll it out on a floured surface until it's your desired thickness. Now, some people do like their sugar cookies to be really thick and hearty. I like to make mine thin. I like a little bit of a crispy cookie, or once the frosting is on there, they do lose that crispiness a little bit, but I do like a thinner cookie. I don't like a lot of thick dough on my cookie. So I do roll mine out rather thin, and then you just take your favorite cookie cutters and start cutting them out. And then once you cut them out, you just ball that dough up and roll it out again. And these bake in the oven at 375 for about 9 or 10 minutes. And I like my edges just to get a tiny bit of brown on them. I don't like to overcook a sugar cookie. I don't think the flavor is as good if they get browned. And then I only bake one at a time. So you just keep switching them out and letting them cool. They only take about 10 minutes to cool. So by the time you're ready to grab the next batch out, you can put the others away. Now we're going to make the frosting. These cool so fast you can frost them right away afterwards as well. And I used about 1.33 sticks of butter and about 3 cups of powdered sugar and a little bit of vanilla, and then just a little bit of cream, enough cream that it's spreadable. So really, I just kept adding cream at about 1 or 2 tablespoons each pour until this was a great consistency to spread on my cookies. Now you can definitely use milk. You do not have to use heavy cream. It really depends what you like and how creamy you want them. Or if you have your favorite recipe for frosting, certainly use that. This is just the recipe that I like to use. I never really measure anything either, so it's really hard to tell you what my frosting recipe is exactly. I just keep adding cream until it's a nice consistency. And then, I got a lot of cookies to frost, so I'll just be honest, and I'm going to do these assembly line style. I do one color at a time. I do one style at a time. I just keep on frosting, put some sprinkles on, make them pretty, and then go at it again. Different style, same color, until I have a few styles and colors of each, so it will be a nice presentation on a platter. So now that the purple is all frosted, then we're going to switch to pink. I did it with green and blue. You can do it with any colors you want. These are perfect Christmas cookies. Valentine's Day, these were for a family reunion outside cookout. So I just did some fun summertime colors. Really, you can be creative. You can pipe this on. You can use any kind of sprinkles. You can make them for Halloween. There's so many things you can do with these, what a lot of people consider a traditional Christmas cookie. You can just make them for any holiday or party. They really are versatile. And here's the final product as they're drying. They do take about 24 hours or even longer to dry before you can pack them together. And also I would suggest packing them in between layers of wax paper. But there you go, there's my sugar cookies.